All right, so about that Pokemon Presents, about that Pokemon Day. Today is February 27th. Nintendo dropped what they called the Pokemon Day, the Pokemon Presents, whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to get right down to it. What I really care about when it comes to all of that, it was really Winds and Waves. I know they had some stuff again with Pokemon Legends EA. Honestly, that game, I thought it looked disgusting. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I enjoyed, what was it? X and Y, if that's the one correctly, when it came back in the day. I know that had its problems. I beat both of those, but Legends EA just didn't do it for me. I've played damn near every mainline Pokemon game, so when it comes to some of the sideline stories and all of that, I mean, I did like Coliseum back in the day. I like XD Darkness. I never really been like a Pokemon Rumble, Pokemon Snap, even though I know the new Snap that was on what is it, Switch, looked pretty good. But what I really cared about was Winds and Waves, and what I would say to that is I feel like I'm kind of excited about it. I'm trying not to learn too much about the storyline. I did look at some of the leaks, but I would say that from what I looked at, the visuals did look good. It didn't seem like anything was too glitchy. Obviously, they're going to show us the best parts of it, so I'm not really sure what to think. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about it a little bit. First of all, I think I did rock with the three of the starters. I know the leaf Pokemon, the grass Pokemon, Brout. I think it has a cool, cute little design. It does look a little loopy, I'm not gonna lie, but I do like the way it looks. It has like a nice lime green color to it. I like how its like beak and its eyebrows are like some leaf blades, like a leaf. I think that's pretty cool. It looks a little zany and dorky, but I do rock with that one. Me personally, the fire puppy, Palm Bomb, absolutely love it. I'm that type of person where, since I've been playing Pokemon games and right now I am in my early 30s, I have been playing Pokemon since like Red and Blue came out. So I've been here from the exact very beginning, and I've played damn near every mainline Pokemon game since then. But I've always been a fire type of guy. I don't know what it is. They just always Cyndaquil, Typhlosion, Infernape, Charmander. I don't know what it is. I just always go for the fire type. But I think that this design is absolutely amazing. I love how it has like that little orange, kind of has some red in it around the little mane of it. It's like kind of looks like flames. Honestly, when I look at this, I can't remember what the name of it is. It kind of reminds me of the legendary from Shield, from Pokemon Sword and Shield, Shield specifically, where it had like that, it kind of looked like a shield, how around the mane it kind of had like that shield look to it. But this is probably my favorite out of the three. And then also moving along, you have Gekua. I'm assuming that's how you say it, Gekua. This one kind of reminds me of like, I can't remember what the name of it is. What was the name of Inteleon's starter form? It kind of gives me that vibes a little bit, but not necessarily the way it looked when it was in its starter, just more so how Inteleon looked. If you remember, it was like really slinky. It kind of had like a look where the eyes were a certain type of way. For some reason, this reminds me of like that final version's, like what I would think this would turn into, if that makes sense. But I think this one is pretty dope. Whenever I played Scarlet and Violet, I actually let my wife pick the starter. I can't remember what the water Pokemon's starter name is. I know it evolves into like Quaxley or something like that. But that was one of the times I went with the water Pokemon. But I think that all three of these, I think all three of the designs actually look pretty good. I don't really have too much expectations because Pokemon and Nintendo have essentially burned through all their goodwill when it comes to me specifically. I'm not pre-ordering nothing anymore. I've never really done that in the first place unless it was like years and years and years ago. But, I'll just have to see what it is. I'm not going to buy it when it first comes out. I'm going to take the time to see what people have to say about it. Hopefully, I don't really see too many spoilers because I'm one of those people when it comes to Pokemon, I like to have as much of a blank canvas as possible. The last games, I don't even think I paid attention to what the starters even look like, but I'm trying to get into this content space, so that's why I'm talking about it. But that's just some of my thoughts on Winds and Waves. I have no idea what the legendary looks like. I'm not really going to look too much into this. Honestly, I can't even remember when it comes out if they had a release date. I'm just trying to strike when the iron's hot, get into this content space, talk about it a little bit, but that's kind of going to segue into my next thing. When it comes to Pokemon, I know the first good part of the trailer, it just really showed all of the older Pokemon. And controversial take, I know. I'm one of those people where it's like, I'm kind of fatigued with older Pokemon still being in newer games. Like, I know at this point it's damn near like 1,000, 1,100 of them, however much it is, but it's like, I'm one of those people, I really appreciate, like, when Black and White came out, if I'm not mistaken, those were some of the games where it was strictly new Pokemon. And I absolutely love that. I love that factor of every time I ran into a different Pokemon encounter, it was the surprise of seeing something that I had never actually seen before. And that's probably one of the things that I absolutely miss the most when it comes to Pokemon games. I mean, I feel like, I know it takes a lot of work, I'm sure, to draw up a certain amount of Pokemon, and unfortunately, I know they stopped kind of doing it as much with like a year-to-year release. It's kind of broken up a little more, but I just miss those days where like every game I was walking into, it was at least 150 new starters, and that's mostly what made up the entire game. Like, I'm tired of seeing the old Pokemon. Like, I love them, they're cool, but it's like, I just want something different. I think that it should at least start being to where as though maybe before you get to the end game, for the most part, it's like 80 to 90% new Pokemon. You want to put some fan favorites in there. You want to surprise us with something cool. I get it. But me personally, I have old Pokemon fatigue. I know that once it got up to obviously Gen 1, nothing but new Pokemon. We'd never seen them before. Gen 2, Gold and Silver, Crystal, they still had some older ones sprinkled in, but they had some new ones. Gen 3, Ruby and Sapphire, I feel like they really upped the score, had a bunch of new Pokemon, a bunch of new designs, fixed a lot of the problems the first two had, but they sprinkled in some old ones too. By the time it got to like Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, I think they were still doing a good job with making a lot of newer designs. Obviously, when they got the Black and White, they had all the new ones, but I feel like by the time they got to like X and Y, it went from making like 150 something new Pokemon to what, maybe like 70. And I'm just old Pokemon fatigued out. I don't know how to say it. Like, right now, my relationship with Pokemon is complicated. It'll be something that I always love, something that's always a part of my childhood. In full disclosure, I was never a Nintendo fanboy, as they want to call it. I do love Nintendo games. Pokemon was one of my all-time favorites. I like the other ones, but I was just never a Nintendo fanboy. Controversial take again. I think one of the things that I gravitated more towards Sony, Xbox, and what others had going on, Nintendo has kind of always seemed like they stayed in this very kiddie, child-friendly, cutesy era. And I think as I started getting older, while I did appreciate that, it kind of started getting a little old and tiring for me. It's like, Mario Kart don't do it for me. I still have not played Breath of the Wild, and I need to, because I heard that game was phenomenal. But I just feel like other companies were making games that just, as I got older, they did a good job segueing into the more mature person that I was becoming. Everything about Nintendo was so cutesy wootsy, Kirby. Everything is so colorful, and it's not that that's a problem. It's just I just feel like they're such a kiddie brand, and they've never really gotten away from that. Like me personally, when I was younger, the favorites Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, these were all games that were still very colorful, but they just didn't have that whole cute, adorable little look to them that a lot of Nintendo games have. But that's not to shame anybody. I'm just talking about me. You like what you like. If you like it, I love it. I'm one of those people. We can all get along. This isn't meant to be some rank on Nintendo video and talk about all the things they're doing recently. But in these last couple of years, as it comes to Pokemon, I ain't really been much of a fan of. So this one is going to be interesting. Just to go down the list really quickly. Love Gen 1. I love Gen 2. I love Gen 3. I did love Gen 4. Thought it had the problems with the long times to gain experience, some of those other things. If Gen 5 is what I remember it is correctly, I think that was Black and White. Absolutely love that. They were some of my favorites. Once it got to X and Y and they started doing some of the gimmicky things like the Mega Evolutions and all of that, it was kind of If Gen 7, if I'm correct, I think that was like Sun and Moon. I thought Sun and Moon were okay. It was definitely way too much talking involved, and that was super annoying how long it took just to get past the tutorial part. After Sun and Moon, I'm trying to think of what else. Am I missing anything? Sword and Shield. I mean, Sword and Shield was okay. I did like some of the new Pokemon, but I just felt like that game was just a little too... I just think the storyline wasn't all that great. I think it was a little too linear as well. I know Pokemon has always been a linear game, but I just kind of feel like that one, when you look at the map and how they just told you where to go next all the time, I think it was just a little too hand-holdy. I know it's always been linear, but back in the day before they were YouTube videos, and I know they had like the guidebooks and everything, I just feel like I had to figure that ish out. I just had to go into the world, go through the cave, find out what was next, try to hop over those little rigid things and hopefully make it to where I had to go. But everything with Sword and Shield was just pointing upward. Go here. It told you exactly where to go. Spin-off games. I love Legends Arceus. It was one of my favorite. Meanwhile, do you say Arceus or do you say Arceus? Usually I say Arceus. I know I'm getting lost in all of this, but yeah, I love that game. Haven't finished it. One of my favorites. I love the new mechanics of it. Scarlet and Violet, I did think it was fun. I didn't necessarily finish it. I know it was buggy as all hell. Hated the fact that you couldn't go into a bunch of buildings. I thought it was really sloppily done. I thought that they did not take their time on that at all. They rushed it. And then Legend ZA, I just think it's slop. So I'm not ever going to buy it. If I got a copy of it for free, that would probably be the most that I ever give a chance for it. But this turned into a Pokemon rant. Sorry, but I want to know, what are your thoughts? What are your comments? Are you excited about Gen 10? Do you like the way the designs of the new Pokemon look? Do you agree, disagree with me? This page is called Control Alt Keys. My name is Kesehari. You might see me on food content. I do sneaker stuff, other things. This is just a dedicated channel towards gaming. So what do you all think? Definitely share, like, comment, subscribe. Do you agree with me, disagree? Whatever the case is, happy to have you all here. Happy Pokemon hunting. Shout out to Nintendo Company. Shout out to Pokemon Company, you know. Yeah. This is just a bit of a rant video, some random stuff. And I'm out. Have a good one.